forecast. Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back. Well, hazy, hot, and humid across the area today. More of the same tomorrow. Some of that African dust is back for a couple of days, and that is squelching any shower activity. And we don't see much relief from the heat as we head into the weekend. Next week, we think we're going to see some changes, but what they are is still up for debate. So let's take a look at the big picture as we look at the water vapor imagery. We got this upper level low and trough of low pressure that's coming out of the Rockies, but it's not going anywhere. It is producing active storms, though, from northeast Texas across Oklahoma. Meanwhile, a ridge of high pressure out here in the Gulf of Mexico, allowing for southwesterly winds aloft and at the surface. And with those southwesterly winds, we've seen some African dust in the area, but things will be thinning out, we think, as we head into Thursday, Friday, but another hazy one for tomorrow. You can see all the rain and storms up into Texas. Some pretty strong storms going through the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. These folks can use the rain. They don't get it too often this time of year, so they'll take it. Back farther to the north and west, severe thunderstorm watches and a couple of warnings going as we get into the Texas Panhandle, but all of this is staying well north of us and will stay that way for the next several days at the very least. Meanwhile, you can see it's pretty quiet, not much significant cloud cover or thunderstorm activity in a very warm Gulf of Mexico. By the way, Galveston setting its all-time record highest low temperature last night this morning at 87 degrees. That tells you the Gulf of Mexico is very hot. They've never recorded a low that high at night or during the morning, 87 degrees in Galveston. But we do have two new named tropical systems, no threats to the Gulf of Mexico. That's good news. A couple of other systems that we're tracking in the far eastern Atlantic that look to stay in the Atlantic for now. You can see OMAR going out to sea, and Nana is definitely heading toward Central America. It looks like Belize at this point with the main impacts through Mexico, Guatemala, and perhaps Honduras as well. This one flaring up today south of Jamaica and got quickly updated to a tropical storm and now expected to make landfall perhaps as a Category 1 hurricane as we head into Thursday, and then moving inland and dissipating, but not before producing more flooding rains, landslides, that sort of thing. Rarely do we get good information coming out of this part of the world, but it's just as bad as when storms are hitting us many times down in that part of the world. Meanwhile, tropical storm Omar is probably going to be downgraded tomorrow by this time tomorrow afternoon. A short-lived system, we say a system for the fishes here, so no threats to land, and that is the good news. So let's take a look at the moisture on the European model here, and the remnants of Nana. Some of that moisture may squeeze up into the Gulf of Mexico. We'll keep an eye on that, but right now we're not spiking the rain chances too high, but a slight rain chance coming in Friday, Saturday with a little bit more moisture. There's going to be a little bit of a frontal boundary here. We might get backdoored on this and just a little cooling at night, but I wouldn't bet on it. And notice all that deep tropical moisture in the western Caribbean. That's going to be heading for the Gulf of Mexico. And here comes a really strong front. This is the cool front we've been talking about, but today the Euro model holding off on it reaching us. Notice it gets close to us, but that deep tropical moisture is in place, and on top of that, we could see some additional tropical activity, perhaps in the Bay of Campeche, southern Gulf, the Caribbean, maybe the western Gulf, and certainly we're going to have more storms out here in the Atlantic. It looks to go gangbusters in the next 2 to 3 weeks. This week being the quieter week with two named systems, but bigger storms we think are on the horizon. Can't tell you if they're going to come here or not, though. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We've already had our storm for sure. Upper 70s to near 80 tonight. Tomorrow, lower 90s. That heat index once again up there. In fact, as we look at those heat indices, barely dropping below the mid to upper 80s tonight, and then tomorrow in the low 100s, which makes it awfully rough for cleanup and recovery for our friends along the coast and across southwest Louisiana. Much the same could be said for Thursday as well. Temperatures in the lower 90s next couple of days. So another sultry evening. At least we have something to look at tonight. A full corn moon out there as we head to about 79 or 80 for the low. Next full moon going into later this month will be the harvest moon. So we have two moons this month, and that means that the second one will be a blue moon. Hazy, hot, and humid for tomorrow. Heat indices up to 104. Breezy afternoon, though. That'll take an edge off some of the heat and humidity, but not much. Lower 90s are high. Lower 90s into the weekend will introduce a slight chance of a shower or thunder shower going into the weekend, but overall rain chances low through Monday. And then toward next week, the middle part of the week, we do think we're going to see a better chance of showers and storms, but whether we see any cool air is up for debate. And right now, I don't want to get your hopes up too high, Jim. I heard you giggling about that, talking about that front yesterday, today. Different story.
Feel a little deflated now,
Yeah,
Rob.
well, we'll keep it that way for now.
All right, thanks, Rob.